Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Lauren Conlin. Happy Monday. I guess we're going into the afternoon. It's 11:15 here, just about on the East Coast in New York City. And I decided to do this very impromptu live stream as I've been covering the Celeste Rivas case and I guess the David case, because clearly there are some crazy connections here, way too hard to, or too much to ignore here, even though technically David has not yet been confirmed as a suspect yet. So hello to the chat. Hello, Afton. Hello, Andy, Bayboy, Stanford Mom. Good morning. Dexterity. Good morning. Hey, Les. My StreamYard is being so funny right now. It's like, I don't know. It's annoying me. It's so small, and I've tried to refresh it a few times. So forgive me if things are just, I'm more spazzy than normal, I guess, today. But anyway, hey Maytal, good to see you. And yes, I agree. This is one of the most egregious cases I have ever seen. I do have some thoughts right now as to, why things might be taking so long for an arrest to happen. That's sort of been, I think, what is on everyone's mind right now. And Forrest, good to see you. You have been a member for 14 months. I'm so happy to have you, one of my first members. And yeah, you're awesome. So thank you. But yeah, so I think at this point, everything is clearly pointing in the direction of David being a person of interest here, as Celeste, her body that was very badly decomposed. And again, I feel horrible talking like this because she is a beautiful girl that should still be here right now. And she would have turned 15 on September 7th, the day before her body was discovered in this Tesla with Texas plates that was registered or is registered to David. So again, and just, kind of recapping just quickly why everything points in the direction of David, I just kind of gave you the biggest reason. Her body was found in a car registered to him. And then the internet sleuths went wild, and we started seeing pictures surfacing of the two of them together. And while some of these photos have not been substantiated, let's say, Celeste's mother did come out and do an interview with TMZ where she confirmed that her daughter did have a boyfriend or was seeing someone named David. And then Celeste's teacher came out and said that he knew that Celeste had met David online on social media. And I think this might have been his way of warning his students. Hi, Dizzy. Oh, good. I just pinged you. I was like, guys, I told Dizzy, I was like, I'm about to go live just quickly on this, just impromptu. So hopefully you're around. She is. Yay. Yeah. So Celeste's teacher had said that Celeste met David online, and he actually came in and picked her up from Hollywood in April of 2024 and brought her to the Hollywood Hills. She lived in Lake Elsinore, California. Let me see. I'm just getting the distance here. So it's about an hour and 56 minutes, about 2 hours driving distance from where she lived to Hollywood. So the teacher said they met online. He came and picked her up in April of 2024, and her family or her mother called the police to report her missing. And according to the teacher, they went to get her or picked her up. Now, I don't, it's unclear where police picked her up and brought her home, but this is what the teacher said. I have to wonder, did they pick her up at this home that David was staying at? And did they ask questions like, did you know this girl was 13 at the time? Did police know this? I mean, there's a lot that we don't know right now. So I guess I'm asking these questions. So police came and got her, brought her home to her family, I'm assuming. And then according to the teacher, she disappeared again and ran off with him again in May of 2024, a month later. Now, the missing poster, it does say last seen in April of 2024. So maybe they didn't update that. Now, Brian, I'm totally with you on this, but I have some thoughts. Right now, and I know a few people that did this, I requested the autopsy report of Celeste from the Los Angeles Medical Examiner's Office. And they told me that there's a huge backlog of requests. And basically, I think her autopsy is complete because there was an option that said I could order it. So I think right now, before her death was ruled as deferred or like undetermined, I guess not undetermined, just deferred because they believed it was a homicide. They didn't know what happened yet, whatever. But I think that now they probably have what happened to her. Now they have given that to the police, and the police are questioning their suspect or suspects. So I think that's part of it. Number two, I think because they just searched the home on Wednesday, and they searched from 3 p.m. I think the police cars arrived there 3 p.m. and they were there till midnight. That's a long time. They were looking for blood evidence. They were seen going in with luminol, whatever. So I think that, they've sent that over to the labs, and they're trying to figure out, what they have evidence-wise, if her DNA came back, if that was her blood, whatever. So I think that this stuff takes time, and they want to ensure, that they have a rock solid case. Now, hold on. Let me go back up to the rumors. Hold on. Wait, what? Her mother should be guilty. I think her mother was getting paid by. Where did you hear that? Or where? Like, this is a crazy case that's so full of rumors. Dizzy said you heard that too. Wait, that's crazy. So, okay, so wait. So that's one thing that I thought of, right? Like, the evidence takes a while to be tested, the blood, DNA, whatever. That's one thing. Now, the other part of this that I think is completely possible here, and I think this kind of goes along with all of the internet speculation, this and that. There's two Celeste, she was pregnant or this or that, whatever. Okay, I'm not going to necessarily go there, but what if there's just a lot more to this story? Everything we know about this guy, David, or that we're learning now that there has been the body, a dismembered body of a decomposed preteen. Let's just call her a preteen. All right. Maybe she was 13 at the time, but literally there could be a lot more going on with this guy that they are digging into right now. What we've seen after this discovery and what we've all put together here is this guy really seems to be fascinated with romance and homicide and darkness and red rum and killing and this and that. And here we go. Look at this. Everywhere you turn, someone is pointing out something like this. His Discord server, quote unquote, manager, or let's say moderator, was discussing loving. Oh my gosh. Okay. Chopping up. Okay. I believe that. I don't know if that's necessarily substantiated. So I would love if you guys put in the comments when you have comments like this, if you heard this yourself firsthand, if you heard this from someone else, where you heard it from, and if you can provide screenshots, because I do think it's important that we try to figure out what is real and what's not. And yes, she is a child, so I will continue to call her a child. Absolutely. But what's crazy is the rumors about the mom. I'm interested in some to hear more of that, because again, if your preteen is telling you that, and every parent's different. I'm going to not judge any parent right now, because, this mother lost her child in clearly a horrific manner. But for me, if my kid's 12 and telling me they're getting picked up by somebody, I'm laughing because I'm like, oh, absolutely not. When you're 12, your mommy drives you. to play dates. And yes, when you're 12, we call them play dates. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. I'm going to call it a play date because you are literally a preteen. So if I were to hear my 12-year-old's being picked up by somebody, I'd say, oh, hell to the no, you're not. Is their parent picking you up? Whatever. So let me see. I believe he is being interrogated right now. Absolutely 100%. I feel like David has not slept in days. He's being interrogated. He's being questioned by police. I mean, they're saying that he's technically not a person of interest, for legal reasons, for defamatory reasons, just because they're trying to, do this the right way here. They don't want to mess anything up because, again, I'm thinking here, there could be a lot more to this. And I said this on Friday night. If anybody watches News Nation, I went on with Laura Engel and we talked about this. And this is my opinion, so I want to make it clear. Her body was dismembered. I feel like that is something very serious. You kill someone, that's one thing. Let's say it was a crime of passion or a crime of opportunity and you red rum somebody. To dismember or to that is another level, in my opinion. And the fact that allegedly she was found in some sort of plastic wrap or container. I mean, that, you could look at this in a multitude of ways. He was a moron, right? If he did this and he left her in his own effing car that's registered to him, yeah, you're like, okay, he's an idiot, he's a moron. But on the other hand, the dismemberment of a body that's a big deal. That is stomach turning. That is like, that to me would indicate that maybe, possibly, there's obviously a morbid fascination here, but could this person have done this before? I don't know. I go back and forth. And the other thing is, and hear me out, there could be other people involved in this. If he did this, right, let's say he's responsible for this. He had to immediately go on tour and he's like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to deal with this. And he taps into his, his closest confidant and they say, let me handle it. Well, what if their handling of it was, putting it in the Tesla, but that was a mistake when maybe this person was dumb? And because, listen, I'm sorry. The other thing is the Tesla having 8 to 9 cameras. That seems like the dumbest place to store a body. I mean, even if it's, it's number one, it's registered to him, but number two, all the cameras, you have to be an idiot. So what if this person was like, yeah, I put it in the trunk of your car, and he's like, idiot, there's cameras, and this person's like, oops, let me move it, and they didn't have a chance to because it got towed. I don't know. And yes, Maytal, that is what's so troubling, where it's did they want to get caught? Because yeah, a girl that can easily be connected to him through photographs and through 2 different live streams and through her parents or her mother and her brother. Her brother also came out and told NBC Los Angeles that he knew she was hanging out with someone named David. So again, it just seems so stupid to me on his end if he did this. But yeah, I do think that most likely some people in his inner circle are aware. They're aware, and they have an inkling that, number one, either he was hanging out with children on a regular basis. So I don't have confirmation of that. I have read some things about that have been kind of tough to substantiate. But, something that crossed my mind when the Discord moderator came out, and again, they obviously were, they were covering their own butts here, but they're like, oh, we had no idea she was young. We thought she was, 18, 19. I was like, okay, maybe that's true for them, but I don't think that is true at all for David. And he could say, he could say whatever he wants to the cops. He could say, oh, I thought she was 18. I thought this, I thought that. I mean, sure, he could say it. I don't necessarily believe that. I do think that if he picked her up anywhere, it probably was at school or, and there was another image of him that circulated from, I believe, like a school parking lot that was about like, just a few minutes from where she lived. So let me see. Yes, this is true. The Tesla was parked about, a couple minutes from his Hollywood Hills home rental since like August 3rd or 4th per neighbors. It didn't get towed until about the 6th of September. That's the timeline here. And then on the 8th, that's when some of the workers at the tow center said that they smelled something very foul. And then on the 8th, they discovered that it was, yes, sadly, a decomposed, dismembered body. So, but here's the thing. If IDK, if she was decomposing for over a month since that's valid. Your body is still, over a month, it's heavily decomposed, but yeah, they still identified it was on her right index finger and the ink was red. The ink was red. I think that also would be sort of prominent to see. They believe she was placed. Yes, I read this too, 5 days before she was found. However, I think personally she was killed before 5 days. I think she was killed before that. I find it also really, really troubling. And Dizzy and I have gone back and forth about this, but something that I noticed is on the missing flyer from April of 2024, it says that she weighed 120 pounds. Now, upon discovery, I guess, she weighed 71 pounds. Now, is this because parts were missing? I don't know. But why wouldn't they indicate that if they chose to publish her weight? Because they did choose to publish her weight, but nobody really, there was nothing remarked about that. And a lot of the time in these reports, these news stories, I mean, mine is TMZ. I will say TMZ will make some remarks or make like a comment after something, but a lot of other outlets will just print the facts and that's that. But going from 120 pounds to 71 pounds, I mean, that's really concerning. If, let's say, if we don't know the phase of decomp that she was in, right? We don't know if there were missing parts. I hate saying that. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I don't know. Why would they make a point to say that? And like, yes, sure, Brian, I'm thinking the same thing. But again, why print that? Why print that? I don't understand, I guess. I mean, so when are they going to be releasing new info? That's a good question, because really there's been no new information that's credible released since Friday when they confirmed, or when it was confirmed that David's European leg of the tour was canceled. So, and I think we saw that coming. I mean, regardless of, them making an arrest or not right away, they're going to say, you got to stay put. We're going to ask you to stay put, because that would just be, that if he's leaving the country, that's not great. You're getting the U.S. Marshals involved. It's bad. So yeah, exactly. That's 50 pounds. TMZ knows everything first. They are so sus. They also said her left arm. Yeah, I saw Charles say that too. That's where I got some of this information from, Georgia. He said, some of her body was missing, the arm, for example. So yeah, I mean, how much does an arm weigh? I don't know. But yeah, that's why there's so much going around, so much information that is tough to substantiate, that we're all sitting here waiting for real info. And there's not really a PIO listed anywhere. So I've called the Los Angeles, the homicide department, to no availability. Like I said, they are telling me that they are going to, I kind of digressed from the autopsy or the medical examiner's office in LA. Usually I have no issue with them. You can go on, you can buy an autopsy report for like $30 and they mail it to you. I'm sorry, email it to you. Well, for this, they're like, we need your mailing address. Oh, it's in New York. It's going to be 5 to 6 weeks. I requested it last week. And I'm like, well, that's crazy. I was like, I don't want you to mail it to me. I want you to email it to me. And I get that you have to go, and they said they had to go in order of how it was requested. And there's such a high volume of requests. And I'm like, that's totally fine. But like, drop it in a Dropbox or something, and then send all of us that way. So we can, grab it in a timely fashion rather than having you mail it to me in 6 weeks. That's crazy. So let me see. Wasn't there another body found at the yard with an index finger missing? I didn't read that, but I mean, like I said, there's a lot going on right now. Let me see. Okay. So this is an interesting comment. Of course, this is an opinion. Maya says he might be an serial killer. I mean, again, this is kind of what I was thinking about when I said authorities might be like, whoa. There's a lot more here with this guy, David, than we initially thought. There's more than just Celeste. I mean, we don't know, but someone else pointed this out. Let me see. Someone else pointed this out about, some of his music videos. And I had watched some of them. He's got like coffins and death. And you saw like he removed blood spattered stained shirts from his website. I mean, he's got a really dark fascination here. Really dark. His lyrics. I mean, the romantic homicide or romance homicide, whatever the hell that song is called. I mean, I killed you in the back of my mind and I didn't even regret it. That's just very blatant. And I've also seen a couple interviews that resurfaced of him, and he really talks about, and this is David, he talks about how he's a product of the internet, how he grew up with the internet, and clearly he rose to fame on TikTok, and this is sort of just how he got to where he is. But it does scare me a little bit when someone says their entire life and their entire world really was just online. That's how he grew up. I mean, I don't know about you guys, and I'm going to age myself, but when I was a kid, obviously we had the internet. I think it was like 7th grade for me when it became a thing, but we would all kind of like, sneak online. Did you guys ever go to Faces of Death? Or like all those, remember that website where you could see like, and that was like the extent of it. Like we would sneak on Faces of Death. I would see one thing and I would be like, I remember I won't even tell you what I saw. I saw like basically this guy like put his balls on like a cutting board and he like smashed them with it. And I was like, ugh. And I was like, okay, I've seen enough. So it's like, I would see one thing of that, I would be scarred for a very long time. And, that was it for my morbid curiosity, let's say. That was it. And then you had like, 2 girls, 1 cup, cakefarts.com, all that stupid stuff. Oh, really? Just me? Darn it. Okay. Wait, none of you guys? No one who's around from the age of, let's say 35 to 45, no one did Faces of Death? Okay. Well, all right. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm thinking that was the internet, when I grew up, right? Now we have the dark web. We have places for people to go who have more than morbid curiosity. I mean, look, thank you, Georgia. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Thank you for making me not feel completely weird. Yes. And 2 girls, 1 cup was torturous, disgusting. But anyway, there are now places for people to go who not only have morbid curiosities, but act on it. Okay. And that is what scares me, is that this guy, who knows who he's been, he's 20 now. He probably got a phone at 10. All right. He's probably been online since 10 years old. And at this point, when someone says their life was pretty much, the internet, TikTok, this and that, it's scary. So this is what David said. And I kind of, immediately went there that he's built this community, people that think they know him and they think they like his music and they think they, whatever. And then you've got this other community. And again, I don't know this per se, but another community that he might have looked to for some of these dark tendencies that he had. So I feel like another part of this and what could be taking so long for police is the deep dive into his devices. That's not going to be an overnight thing. Possibly, again, we don't know this, but because this could include cyber crimes, are they getting Homeland Security or the FBI involved? I mean, we don't know. I'm sorry, who is this? Make your point. I don't know. It's my channel. I talk a lot. You can leave. You don't have to be here if I'm not making my point fast enough for you. But yeah, so I feel like there's a lot here, and it's multi-faceted, multi-leveled, whatever. So I feel like that is another reason why this is taking so long for them to make an arrest. Yeah, I mean, I do feel like, yeah, if we don't see something this week, I'll be surprised. I'm sure they put a rush on the evidence, the blood testing, if they found any blood, the computers that they seized, again, all of his phones. I don't know. Or what about this, guys? What if he's talking right now? What if he's squealing like a pig and, they're just dotting all their T, what do you call it? Dotting all their I's, crossing all their T's. They're doing all that. So yeah, there's definitely quite a few things that could be going on here. But one thing I will say that is just getting confusing is the internet rumors and the discourse. Yeah, normally they'd arrest a murderer for something lesser to, get him in. Totally, I feel that. So, how do I say your username? Let me see. Normally they'd arrest a murderer for something lesser to get him in and protect the public. But so Shaboogs said that. Sorry if I'm saying this wrong, but that's a really good point. They'd arrest him for being, a pedo or something like that, just to get him off the street. But, maybe he is off the street. Maybe maybe they've got him right where they want him. Again, we don't know. Lauren's channel, don't talk to her like that. No, it's fine. I actually, if you're new here, I really do enjoy all opinions. I think that when people voice different opinions, I love it. I don't think it's fun if we all agree, but I think, don't be rude, I guess. That's just my whole thing. Yeah, so let me see what else. Singing like Matthew Farwell. Yeah, sure. Did anybody watch the Birchmore Dateline on Friday? It was good. I liked it. Let me see. What if a serial killer listens to his music and used it? I mean, sure. Again, it goes back to who was he talking to online? Did he have this whole other community, this whole other world that he was in? And, or did he just sing about it and someone else stole? I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I think he had involvement in this, David. I do. If I had to guess. And yes, Maya says they need solid evidence so they don't muck up the case. And then, hi, Qual, you say we have to stop being naive. He couldn't do this alone. He signed to powerful labels, Darkroom and Interscope. Yeah, agreed. So this goes back to Interscope. Interscope hasn't really said anything. Has not said anything. They just halted his record release, which was supposed to be out last Friday, the 19th. That was his deluxe Withered album. They halted that. So maybe they're trying to say, okay, actions speak louder than words type of thing, distancing themselves, not one other artist or celebrity has come out and said, oh, he's a good guy, blah, blah, blah. Not one person has said that, sticking up for him, or no one that I've seen. So if you guys have seen a celebrity stick up for him or say something positive about David, please let me know. I haven't seen that. Hey, MJ. You're not late. Don't worry. Let me see what else. Sorry. I'm just going through the chat right now. Yeah, he probably is lawyering up through Interscope. I haven't seen anything about, who his lawyer is. And I find that to be interesting too, that there's nothing out about that. Usually that information gets leaked very quickly. And I expected TMZ to have some more just inside information over the weekend. But again, it does seem like everything is very tight. Now, let me see. What did this say? Lauren, some of her screenshots exposed she was having relations with another guy named Gus, who was also unalived on unrelated stuff. Where did you find this? Is this, because this to me, I mean, it could go either way. Right now, what I just read is unsubstantiated. Someone in the chat brought this up. That's interesting. Someone else said, also, he had reposted a video of a man chopping up meat with the text, "Oh, if she talks to another man." And then he took down the repost so fast. I believe that. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy because sorry, my eyes just got like so big. My eyes got big and crazy because that, she was found dismembered. Wow. Okay. Did you see that with your own eyes? Again, anything you guys post, I would love to know where you found this, if you saw it with your own eyes, if it was through a third party, just trying to sift through everything. No, and it wasn't a rental car. It was his Tesla. He's from Texas. It had Texas plates. It was registered to him. And again, totally, I don't know if you just joined, but this is what I was just saying. The case is so quiet, it makes me think it's bigger than just David. Totally. Other people are involved, or David was up to a lot more here. And again, I keep thinking that maybe HSI or the feds are involved somehow at this point, going through his computers, especially if he had, multiple underage kids that he was talking to. Who was the girl? This is going to bother me. This is not the same thing at all. What was her name? Colleen Ballinger or something? Or one of her mods or something like that was like I don't know, she was like being investigated, or maybe not officially investigated, for talking to some underage kids or talking to them sexually. And I don't even remember. But yeah, like this stuff happens. Not the same thing, but yeah. Let me see what else. David has been on different live streams just being weird. Have you seen some of these? And I'm assuming this was before. Let me see. He hasn't been identified as a suspect. Therefore, we won't hear about any lawyer. Law enforcement has stated that he is cooperating. Yes, that is true. I think for me, TMZ always has people lurking in LA. So I just feel like they would have stuck somebody, like we would know where David is right now, and somebody would have followed him to see who he's talking to, what's going on, or TMZ would have paid someone to get that information. So it's just crazy that we don't have that yet. Let me see. Okay, so you saw it on a YouTube video, the repost, and you have screenshots. Okay, that's really interesting. And this is about the chopping up of a body. If a woman is caught talking to another man, that whole thing that he took down. Wow. Celeste's older brother was talking about a Gus that was shot, third party. Okay, thank you for that. I will look that up after. And then let me see what else. So, Terry, you are saying they said in the trunk her head and torso wasn't. That's what I read. Only half the body was missing. He admits to getting her pregnant. Lower body missing would have shown DNA that proves she's pregnant. Okay, this is where I think it gets a little muddled. The report I saw, or the screenshot I saw, and again, I didn't see it with my own eyes live in Discord. I saw somebody post a screenshot of him saying that he had a kid on the way with @deleted user. A lot of people assumed that deleted user was Celeste. We don't know. But anyway, this was posted in July of 2024. I don't think that, for me, the timeline doesn't exactly match up, because I don't think that she's been deceased for, a year. Um, is it possible that he like kept her in? Why would he announce that, right? If he was gonna like kidnap her and keep her in hiding to like have this baby, and then I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that timeline doesn't make sense to me. And yes, I read this too. There are two Celeste, and we thought, yes, is that, yeah, one with like big glasses and braids. I saw, like, I don't know. And agreed. There are layers, and it's disturbing. So when it comes to the whole pregnancy thing, I truly just don't know what is fact and what is fiction there. So I will wait to conclusively report anything. Again, I mean, we also still, who just said this before? Terry, like, I'll wait, because I've heard the same thing as you. Parts of her body were missing. We just don't know. And that goes back to me just wondering, like, why would they print her weight of being 71 pounds if limbs were missing? You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. And Interscope is run by a group of weirdos. That's interesting. Who else is on that label? Let's just look that up for a second. Who's signed to Interscope, or which artists? Oh, Interscope. David is the first one that comes up. Let me just share this tab instead really quick. So David, Lady Gaga, Billie Eilish, Madonna, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem. Oh, Diddy, Dr. Dre, Juice WRLD. Oh, Juice WRLD. Wait, Juice WRLD is dead. Isn't he dead? Huh. Well, okay. Also, this is just a random side note. Juice WRLD, am I crazy? He lived in the house that the American Idol exec and her husband, that robbery that killed them, he lived in the house before they did. I don't know if you guys knew that, but that is very factual. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Brian. Yeah. He died. Didn't Juice WRLD die because he was trying to hide drugs and he ingested all of them and he OD'd? That is crazy. That is so crazy. So yeah. So okay. Interscope does have a lot of wow, very, very popular artists. And now this is interesting. Okay, hold on, let me go back to sharing this tab. So let's talk about this. Why won't they figure out her phone records, who the last person she was talking to, her calls, and what her last known location was, where she was located? Okay, so that, let me pin that again. This is a good point. Goes back to her, being reported missing in April, coming back home per her teacher, and then leaving again in May. Listen, did she use a burner? We don't know. But somebody, going back to someone in the chat, said her mom possibly, I don't want to say her mom was involved, but her mom was connected to David somehow. I mean, at this point, I have no idea if that is substantiated, true, or false. I'm just bringing this up as a speculation. But if that's the case, her mom's phone would be being searched right now as well, I would assume. And yeah, I would think that if she was missing, or when she went missing back in May of 2024, that yeah, they would have gone to the police, who would have given her family, or they would have done this themselves, gotten a warrant to go to her phone company and said, we need all of the phone records here. That, I think, would be a no-brainer because she is a minor. So that's a great point. Unless, they got the phone records, and did that not tell them anything? Like, that's a really good point. Wouldn't they have figured this out last year, especially if her teacher knew that the first time she ran away, she went off with David? Well, let's see. The second time she runs away, what are the odds that again was David, unless her parents or mom was okay with it? I hate saying that. I hate saying that right now, because It feels wrong to say because we don't know enough. And her mom is probably devastated right now. I mean, devastated. But I guess now that I say this out loud, like, yeah, why didn't they first go to David last May? Yeah, wait, and that too. If the teacher knew that he picked her up again, well, now I'm confused. Now I'm like, okay. Are you guys now getting so now that we're talking about this, and thank you for bringing that up. I mean, now I'm just thinking, yeah, it seemed really obvious if they knew in April she ran off with David to the Hollywood Hills. Yeah, well, in May, why would it not be the same? I don't know. Now I'm thinking, now it's something's not right. Well, something's not right, this entire thing there's something not right. But yeah. Yep. I don't know. And look, you're right about that. Sometimes I'm glad parents check their kids' phones. Maybe Celeste didn't have those kind of parents that would check her phones, because if she did, wouldn't they have gone to get her? Or if something was happening where David was supplementing her mother somehow, I don't know. Georgia says the older brother said he went to police. They sent him to another jurisdiction, but they never did anything. The brother said he knew that she was a rat. Yeah, so I saw that too. The brother said, I knew that she was with someone named David. I didn't read the former part, or I didn't see that anywhere about him going to police, but being sent to another jurisdiction. So I don't know where you saw that. Yeah, so the teacher, it looked to me when I saw that video that one of the students recorded that without his knowledge and then put it out there, but I could be wrong. I don't know. That's what it looked like to me. Let me see. And Ree says, yes, that's why people aren't giving a lot of sympathy to the mother, because it seems like neglect at the very least. Right. I hear what you're saying. Totally. And I did think of this too, Sarah, like a burner phone. That was my whole thing. I mean, I feel like David definitely has burner phones, like or burner devices. If he's as deeply embedded in some of this nefarious stuff as I believe he very possibly could be, then yeah, he definitely has burners. And listen, I will be the first to apologize if this is all a misunderstanding somehow and he is not involved and somebody used him and used his car. But again, let's go back to his lyrics, his videos, his selling bloodstained shirt. I mean, yeah, optics sometimes are everything when it comes to this stuff. So yeah. Also, I want to pull up quickly the timeline that I had ChatGPT help me put together last week, because it helped me sort of just kind of map everything out here and sort of figure out, what was substantiated and what isn't. And I don't know, like this is super strange, but on her missing flyer, she says it says the last thing she was seen wearing are the Hello Kitty pants, right? And I don't know if you saw the image that I put for this live stream, but I put an image of David wearing Hello Kitty pants, appearing to be very distressed, like in a shower. And I found that image. It was on Facebook, and it was, it was on, I don't know, it was on some report, but it was really troubling. Like if he's wearing her pants and he's looking distressed, I mean, yeah, that's pretty scary. That's pretty troubling. Let me just go back to the timeline. Oh, whoops. Sorry. I tweet so much that I can't find my, okay. So in 2022, I'll just share this. Romantic Homicide is released. This is just, again, part of my timeline. And there are certain things missing, but you guys can sort of fill in the blanks here if you want. let me see. Okay. Romantic Homicide is released. Really disturbing lyrics. Then in September 2022, the music video is released. Also disturbing. December of 2023, a few months later, allegations from social media and leaked sources claimed that David recorded an unreleased song titled Celeste. And I think this is, again, obviously, huge red flag to a lot of us, but now reports are coming out and saying there were two Celestes. However, the other Celeste, has anybody seen anything from that Celeste, like speaking out saying, hi, I'm the other Celeste, and this is what I have to say? I haven't seen anything like that. So just saying. Okay. January 11th, 2024, alleged live stream appearance. A resurfaced video claims that Celeste appeared on stream with David and that mods were told to delete that video. Now, I did have a chance to see parts of the video, and I kind of have put this together just based on some of his other posts. He had an Instagram post one day saying he was beginning his media training or something like that. And in this one particular stream, people kind of took this out of context, saying like, oh, he said he was training her. I think he was kind of saying like, oh, I'm going to media train you, kind of like, you know, he was being media trained. And she said something about Epstein. Yes, there you go. Doing something, someone in the chat said Jeffrey Epstein doing something with kids. And she says this in the video and they're like, oh yeah, delete this. So it could be a couple things. I mean, I don't really know why you would need to delete somebody saying that, you know, oh, Epstein doing that stuff with kids. I mean, everybody says stuff like that all the time. I don't think you need to delete that. But they were both saying delete. So whatever that is. April 5th, 2024, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, then 13, is reported missing from Lake Elsinore, California. I didn't have the May in here because I saw that after from her teacher. And then June 27th, 2024, a resurfaced clip purports to show Celeste backstage after a show with a member of David's team. This is circulating on social media, not confirmed by police or major outlets. I've seen that video. I kind of thought it was David she was with. They both had hoods on. I don't know if you guys saw that. Again, unconfirmed, but, you know, is what it is. Then, okay, an unknown date in 2024 is Celeste's last alleged Discord message. Post claims Celeste's last Discord message with David were, quote, months before she disappeared. This is unverified, based on social media. And then various dates, alleged photos together. TMZ and others have published images, videos set to show Celeste with David, including a joint live stream. And then mainstream outlets have noted that the existence of such images exist, but they don't date them precisely. And then August 3rd, 4th, 2025, estimated neighbors say the Tesla registered to David had been parked / abandoned in the Hollywood Hills neighborhood for about a month before being towed. Around September 6th, the car was towed. Per law enforcement sources, September 8th, workers at the Hollywood tow yard report the foul odor. A decomposed body was found in the trunk of the impounded Tesla. September 17th, 18th, LA County Medical Examiner identifies the remains as 15-year-old Celeste. Celeste would have turned 15 September 7th, the day before her body was discovered. And then this is the tour timing. August 5th, 2025. His tour kicks off, the first leg, the North American tour. So this would coincide with the Tesla kind of being parked and abandoned on the 3rd or the 4th. So I think, you know, kind of checks out timing wise, you know? But yeah, I guess we really don't know. I'm going to go back to the chat here. The other Celeste name, Celeste Herrera. She even changed her Instagram bio to different Celeste. Okay, got it. I'll have to check that out. I didn't know that she had changed her bio and all that stuff. I mean, I wonder, I'm sure police are talking to her. And also, you know what else is super weird? Maybe not weird, but going back to the other Celeste, she also had the big glasses that we saw, and she had her hair in like these two they're pigtail braids, right? Like long pigtail braids. Well, let me show you guys this. Ugh, sorry, it takes me a minute. The cover of his deluxe Withered album. Scrolling. Sorry. Okay. I'll share this. This girl in the back, she appears to have braids like that. I can't get it any further. Sorry. And I'll get even closer to the camera, which you guys don't need. But yeah, and there is, you know, I got this from his Instagram, David's Instagram. And if you swipe on the Instagram post, and by the way, this post where he promoted the deluxe Withered album could be a total coincidence, but he posted this on September 7th, Celeste Rivas's birthday. Would have been her 15th birthday. So weird. But if you swipe, you can see more of a close-up view. I just didn't put this on my Twitter, but you can see a close-up of like the girl's braids like from the back. So I find that to be kind of interesting. And I don't know, I'm like, is that like supposed to be like the Tin Man or something, or like whatever? They're like marching like, you know, like the Wizard of Oz, or I don't know. Yeah. So I'm looking in the chat to see like what I missed here. Older Celeste, a decoy. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, thank you, Sarah. Thank you. I'm not crazy. I listen, I didn't watch Faces of Death regularly. I just would like sneak on with my friends and try to be cool. Let's see. Yeah, do you guys also, you know who has some good insight on this? I want to find him right now. I'll just do it while you guys are with me searching. Is SF Investigates. Let me see. He's had some good insights on this. SF. There. He's a private investigator that I like to follow. Steve Fisher. Let's see if he's said anything. Probably not, because there hasn't been. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. Ooh, what's this? Although it has been widely reported that the Tesla owner, or the Tesla owned by David, in which Celeste Rivas was found deceased, it was a 23 Model Y. It is actually a 2023 Model X. It appears that LAPD has finished processing the vehicle, and it's now back at an impound lot. From impound records, it appears the evidence hold has been lifted and it can be released to the owner upon payment of impound fees. I have redacted the license plate number. Whoa, that's crazy. Wait. I mean, sorry, not to bring this back to like Karen Reed, but like they haven't even given Karen Reed back her Lexus from what I'm confirmed, or what I've read, and there was no body found inside that Lexus. Maybe I'm not well versed enough, you know, in a police investigation. I feel like, yeah, I guess they pillaged that Tesla and they got what they needed and they could give it back. I think that's crazy. Yeah. Okay. Well, so thank you. Karen Reed has it back, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like she was begging for her Lexus back. And I just feel like, yeah, okay, thank you. This does seem super fast. They've already let me go back to Steve's actual post. That from impound records, it appears the evidence hold has been lifted. It can be released to the owner upon payment of impound fees. What? Okay, I'll have to come back to that. That's crazy. This is where Steve actually calls out his manager. The silence is deafening. David, you have nothing to say about your very underage girlfriend, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, ending up dead in a car registered to you. And you, Josh Marshall, that's actually who I read that the house was rented to. Josh Marshall remains silent as well. As David's manager, you know everything about his life. You literally manage it. How is it that you haven't spoken up? This girl has been around him since she was 12 or 13 years old. Police found her over a year ago. We've talked about this at a Hollywood house with him. You knew about that. You knew she was a missing person. You knew she was underage. Now she's dead. Why did you allow a missing child, very underage at that, to be harbored by your client in a house leased to you? Does Interscope Records condone this? Okay, and this is the $20,000 a month home. Wow. Wow. And that he wrote about some of the sponsors dropping him. Okay, all really good points that we've kind of discussed here. But guys, doesn't this go back to also Celeste's mom and maybe her teacher? And I'm sorry, but just because a kid keeps running away and going to the same place, it doesn't really mean that you leave them there. It doesn't mean, I mean, especially when they're 12 or 13 years old. What? I mean, were they thinking that like, oh, he's a famous singer. Of course she's okay. She's totally okay. What? I am beginning now, yeah, to align with a lot of people in this chat saying nobody protected her. Geez, like, who all knew about this? Or who all knew that he was allegedly a pedo and they were just looking the other way? This is horrible. This is gross. And it could be there's a lot more people involved in this, like we said, than we initially thought. And yes, C. Taylor, we totally were talking about this. 8 or 9 cameras around a Tesla. And my brother and sister, they both own a Tesla, not own, whatever, lease, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure that the car doesn't have to be on for the camera to pick certain things up. I think you can program them or something like that where, you know, certain angles or certain cameras, yeah, they could be on at all times. So I think you are right, Shauna. I think many people knew. I think you're right. So there's a lot to unpack here. And I think that between, you know, what's online and this chat, I think we've kind of unpacked a lot. Again, I think that now we are just waiting for LAPD to hold a press conference here and tell us what's going on. And again, there are more people involved in this for sure. And they are finding a lot on this guy's computer, a lot on this guy's phone. I think somebody who brought this up, I think this is where I'm just confused. Where's Celeste's phone? Where are her phone records? Why has nobody, why did police not get her phone records, you know, from, why was there not a warrant to get these records when she first disappeared? I don't know. And Sarah, there's no spottings of him. And I think this is what I was not confused about, but usually TMZ is all over this. They've got people everywhere. There is no escaping TMZ. So the fact is, no one's seen David, you know, since he got back. He was supposed to have a show on Friday the 19th in San Francisco, but he had returned to LA, I think, when they found her body, but nobody saw him. Did he fly on a private jet? Did he fly? I don't know. Nobody's seen him. Crazy. It's so crazy. Oh my gosh. I hope he's not somewhere playing video games. I hope he's just being interrogated until he, you know, he tells them everything they need to know. So we'll see. But yeah, am I am I missing anything that is substantiated and super important? I mean, I feel like what Steve posted here is crazy. The fact that they would have already given him the Tesla is wild. That's crazy. And also, like, wouldn't they like? I don't know, and I don't know the state of the Tesla, but wouldn't they be ripping things apart and I don't know? Wouldn't they be ripping seats apart, ripping the carpeting up? Crazy. That is so crazy. But yes, Steve has good insight. He is SF Investigates. I will be literally retweeting this right now. I have a lot of questions here though. Gosh, so many questions. Evidence hold lifted, and but yeah, I think that we're gonna see a press conference this week. Oh, you did. Dizzy said they destroyed it. You saw a picture somewhere. Okay, I feel a little bit better knowing that it is somehow destroyed. Yeah. But anyway, I'll keep everybody updated on this one. I've been following it very closely. I've been tweeting about it a lot. This is my first live stream on this, and so this is the first time I think I've actually had a chance to say all of this out loud. I did Court TV and News Nation on Friday night, but many of you are aware these are very short segments, and it's not like you can sit there and bounce your ideas or your theories off of people. You know what I mean? Like I'm just kind of like giving them sort of a report, and then I'm kind of thinking about it, but like talking to you guys about this and pinning some of your comments has been really enlightening and really made me think a lot harder about what the hell is going on, and also why it's even weirder than we all originally thought. So this has been, oh yeah, sorry. I also wrote a Substack on it. Thank you. I did write a Substack. I also, I did an initial report for LA Magazine on this as well. I guess I forgot that I, sorry. I guess I have covered it. Besides just Twitter, I guess what I meant was this is my first live stream on it. And again, it's really helpful to talk to you guys about this because I don't really have anyone to talk about this to like bounce things off of and put it in perspective. So the one thing I will say that has helped me the most putting this in perspective is the fact that everybody seemed to know that she disappeared with David last April. And when she disappeared again, nobody cared. Oh yeah, Dizzy, you can totally put the LA Mag link, put the Substack link if you want. I would love that. Yeah, and thank you so much. If you guys are new to my channel, subscribe if you want. Like, I don't know. I haven't really been going live lately as much because I'm just doing some other freelance reporting projects and everything. And yeah, so I just haven't had the bandwidth to go live and sort of talk a lot of this stuff out. But again, I think it's super important that when we do talk about this, or it's important to me anyway, that when you say what you heard or what you saw, I just would love, again, to know where you saw it. You saw it firsthand knowledge, if it was just a screenshot or what, because like when I saw the pregnancy thing or somebody posting about him saying, oh, I've got a kid on the way, initially I was like, does this look like it's photoshopped? Does this look like it's edited? I don't know. I have a hard time now. Yeah, exactly. This is not making sense. We're the police when she was missing for over a year. Yes, and thank you so much, Georgia. Yes, and thank you, Dizzy. This was my LA Mag article. And let me see. Jen says, hi, I'm new here. I believe this is exactly what has repeated. This was an R. Kelly and a Diddy doo-wop remake. He just finally got caught while it took 30 years for R. Kelly and Diddy. I don't think that, R. Kelly and Diddy, they didn't red rum anybody. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I think R. Kelly is in a freaking world of his own, I have to say. I think that guy is so nasty. But anyway, David is 20 years old. Afton, anything with Jillian and Veronica. So, and that is, again, I cover a lot of cases. if you're new here, Jillian and Veronica, I believe they did set a trial date for at least one or two of the defendants for June of 2026 as of right now. So that is what I know there. And actually, if any of you guys follow, oh, thanks, Jeremy. That's so nice. That's really nice. I'll try to go live more often. I appreciate you. But also, I was going to say, if anybody is interested in Diddy, there is a hearing, an in-person hearing this Thursday. So I'll be covering that. And it's kind of weird because there is a hearing on Thursday, and this is to go over some of the motions that the defense submitted in number one, getting him a new trial just based on the Mann Act convictions alone. Number two, getting the Mann Act convictions dropped, whatever. So they're having this hearing, which I feel like is going to be a whole bunch of like, no, we're not going to have a new trial, and no, we're not going to drop the charges, or the conviction, but he's getting sentenced a week later on October 3rd. So I'm kind of like, what's going on? Why are they, I guess they just got to have a hearing for these motions because there needs to be some oral arguments, but yeah, so weird. But yeah, I'll be covering that on Thursday. Where is the other guy she was dealing with? They're saying someone offed him. Yeah. So NDT, somebody had said this was a guy named Gus. I don't have confirmation of that. This came from the chat. I mean, I don't put anything past anyone at this point, though. So this guy, David, again, my opinion, this is just my opinion. He seems to be very, very morbidly curious based on everything we know. I also found it to be pretty shocking that somebody would dismember a body the first time they kill. I just felt like that kind of sounds like an experienced killer if I had to guess, but I don't know. Again, I don't know. So anyway, okay, so you say they don't look for runaways. I hear you, but she was like 12 or 13 years old. I feel like that's got to be different. Am I wrong? Right? I mean, if my kid runs away at 12 or 13 and the cops don't want to help me, I mean, you're going to be hearing a lot from me there. And I feel like people would be on my side and be like, no. I feel like that's, right? That's like for like an 18-year-old, let's say, that runs away or whatever. They're not going to help you there. She's 18. They're going to say, and you're going to say, well, she was mixed up with these bad people that wanted her dead. Okay, well, she's 18. She's done this before. That sucks. Obviously, it's horrible, right? But like, they're not going to look for her. Celeste, 12 or 13. Sorry, you don't have a choice, right? Like you got to, yeah. So Mary, you think the same, right? Okay, and Dizzy says, sure, that you think it depends on how many times she ran away previously and then returned. Right. Yeah. Or if she ran away in May, but let's say this, something we haven't really talked about, I guess, is what if she was in contact with her family or whoever, through 2 months ago, and they just kind of gave up on her and they're like, whatever. And they just don't, they knew that she was with a guy named David because she told them that when she quote unquote ran away. I don't know. But all I know now is that she is a child and she should still be here right now. She should not have met her end that way. Not at all. Something is very amiss. Something is very wrong. And I think that quite a few people could be held responsible in different ways for her death. Yeah, this is pretty sad. You're right. They didn't care until she was dead. Yeah. No, you're right. If they knew that she was gone, then that makes sense. And that's disgusting. Hey, Stimmy. And yeah, exactly. I think everybody agrees with you, Lewis. Everybody does. So anyway, stay tuned. I will be on top of this. I just can't stop going down these rabbit holes. And I don't want to say that I'm fascinated because that sounds awful to say that I'm fascinated. It sounds insensitive because I really do feel so horrible. She was a child, but I am interested, I guess, in what is to be revealed about David, because I think there is so much more going on here. So I will continue to go down this rabbit hole, and I thank you all. I thank you all for joining me and talking this through with me, and yeah, steering me in the right direction. And I'm super impressed that this chat, nobody has gone off the rails, I guess, with rumors and just, you know, making things more convoluted. Everybody has stayed very much on track and said things that, you know, seem to possibly have some credibility there. So I want to thank you all for that. And Dizzy, thank you for jumping in to moderate. Yeah, last minute. And I love this, Terry. Justice for Celeste. Justice everywhere, you guys. Literally, if her parents wronged her, if her teachers wronged her, if David wronged her, justice across the board. Because I'm sorry, I was still a moron at the age of 30. Okay. I still am a moron. I still need people's help to guide me and help me with my life decisions. This girl, 12, 13 years old. What are we even talking about? Like, what? Okay, I'll stop. Anyway. All right, guys. Thanks again for being here. I appreciate you all. And yeah, justice for Celeste.